Hi, welcome everyone to Coleman Report Live. I'm Joseph Coleman. Today is August 11th. We have very special guests today coming in from all over the country. We'll start with you, Jennifer. Welcome. She is the president and owner of Eventfully Yours. She has put together some wonderful conferences upcoming. Jennifer, welcome. You haven't been on the show for a while, and we're glad to have you.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Also joining us is Chuck Evans. He's the executive vice president for lender development and training for Windsor Advantage. Chuck, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to see both of you. Yeah, I'm going
to be back.
see
Good to be back. Yep.
both you and Jennifer in Philadelphia next Monday for America East. I'm very excited that I get to go out there and do that. So,
Awesome.
yeah, let's start off. We have a quick poll question. This is for Lance. Lance, you called me this morning and said you wanted to add this. Have you processed guaranteed purchase for a PPP loan? Apparently you have quite the story to tell. So let's see the results.
I just want to see.
Yeah, about 72% say no. So it's still a new ongoing thing. But Lance, what happened with your exam?
Well, first of all, I just want to tell everybody, I realize you don't have payment defaults probably on your PPP loans now, but let's say you receive an indictment on one of your PPP borrowers. You're ready to submit for guaranteed purchase. Or let's say there is a fraud claim and you've received subpoenas. You can submit for guaranteed purchase. Or a bankruptcy on a PPP borrower, you can submit for guaranteed purchase. And of course, on the forgiveness portal, down at the bottom left-hand side, you've got the guaranteed purchase dashboard, the guaranteed purchase submission. So you have the opportunity to submit guaranteed purchases now. It's a pretty easy, simple process. I picked a large, complicated PPP loan where we had received something that would allow us to go ahead and submit. I submitted it on Monday. SBA processed it in 2 days, and payment is on the way. So I just want to encourage you, there are some circumstances right now where you can be submitting for guaranteed purchase. Again, when I mention bankruptcy, some bankruptcy, you're always better off as a PPP lender if the borrower submits for forgiveness in a bankruptcy case. But, another example of where you can submit for guaranteed purchase, if the borrower died, which we've had a couple of those, and you have proof of death, a death certificate or something that proves that, you can submit for guaranteed purchase. So it works extremely well. SBA does a really efficient job of processing it. So I encourage you to get started on some of those challenging PPP loans and submit for guaranteed purchase.
Yeah, we're getting a bunch of comments. Thank you, everyone. Eileen says we had one borrower file for bankruptcy and then another borrower passed away. And so she's attempting to do that. Lisa says, I had the same experience with the guaranteed purchase. In bankruptcy Chapter 7, SBA paid the lender in 2 days. So seems like the agency is working quickly, and it seems like these are getting done, Lance. So thank you for that.
Good comments.
Yeah, let's see. Second poll question. Bob wanted to ask this, and he does apologize. His internet is out. So he wants to know how many days are you working from home or a virtual office? Are you working 0? So are you going in, or are you full-time at home still? It should be interesting results.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Wow. So the majority, 41%, are working virtually 5 days a week, and 35% are back in. So it's really a pretty even split. And then I've heard stories of a hybrid situation where you can go in a couple days a week. So what do you guys think?
6 and 7 days.
I know.
Pedal to the metal. Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say there was not an option for me there.
I know. I was just thinking that.
I'm so strange. The other night, Saturday night at about 11 o'clock, I popped up. I was fully awake, couldn't go back to sleep. So I slid up to my desk and approved a few hundred forgiveness applications. So
Well, you know, our office isn't close to anything, so I drove my wife crazy, so she kicked me out. So I had to rent a little virtual office up the street because of COVID. So.
Yeah, very very creative in how things are done these days. This is for Jennifer. Are you attending a small business lending conference? I'm excited. I haven't been to a conference I think since January 2020. We had our secondary market event in DC, so I'm very excited to see everyone.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
excited.
Me too.
So half say no, but 30% and 20%. So half and half. What do you think about those results, Jennifer? Are you seeing this around the country right now?
I mean, yes and no. I think it's area specific, right? And we'll talk about it in a little bit, but we've got a conference coming up in Philadelphia next week, and we've got 250 people coming in person and 80 virtually. So while it's have the numbers that we typically see, we don't have the 450. So I definitely see the numbers down this year. However, we have large enough numbers to make it make sense and still be a success. So
Hey, I'm so excited, guys. The last time I saw Jennifer, Chuck, and all my SBA friends throughout the country was in Denver at America West, and right prior to the big pandemic start. And that was a fun time, but I haven't seen them since. And at Mid-America Lenders Conference on September the 8th, we'll get to reunite, not just me, Chuck, Joe, and Jennifer, but all my friends in that particular area. I look forward to seeing you.
Jennifer, tell us what's going on. Oh, go ahead, Chuck.
Jennifer's not going to say this, but this pandemic has created a real strain on getting people together, and you've done a great job starting off with the virtual conferences. They were a little rocky. We had to get used to them, but I think we as an industry need to continue to support these things because the education of the lenders that do 6, 7, 8 loans a year is paramount. And so thank you, Jennifer.
Well, and Chuck, to add to that, Jennifer gives us an opportunity to sit at a table with other SBA participant lenders and share stories and ideas, and that's worth the price of the conference itself. Just sharing a table with other people doing the same thing you're doing, and the training's unbelievable.
And talking to some of the vendors that question, whether it was worth it. But I think we as an industry need to support this during these troubled times, and it's starting to work out, isn't it?
it is. I mean, it really has exceeded our expectations for sure. We really weren't sure how the year was going to go, and while they may be right on top of each other, these conferences, it's probably a sponsor's nightmare because you're traveling pretty much for 4 weeks straight. But the good side is we are seeing the attendance. It is picking up pretty well, like I said, with America East. And then we have, as Lance mentioned, we have MALC in Dallas. And, we probably have over 300 attendees already registered for MALC, and we're still, a few weeks out. Flagel as well is seeing great numbers. That's in Florida. And so, it's a whole nother country really there in Florida. So, not as many restrictions, and people are more willing there, say, than Philadelphia. So we're seeing some good numbers there. We've got virtual options too. So as Chuck mentioned, while it may have been something unobtainable before, for some back office folks to attend some of these conferences, they can attend really virtually from their homes and their desks. And so if travel is an option, if your company has restricted travel, at this point, you can still attend virtually. America East is closed, so there's really no registration still for that. But, for all the others, for sure, you can definitely still register. I do want to point out the GLQC retreat, though. It's a little one, but it's going to be fun. It's the weekend of August 27th to 29th, and it's intentionally a weekend because really the main point, as you guys mentioned, is really connecting with everybody and just kind of socializing again. And, while we have some sessions on Friday, which I'm excited to point out, we have a partnership we just started with SBA, with the Roadshow Live, SBA Roadshow Live with Dustin Baker. And so he's coming and he's going to do the Roadshow Live at the retreat. And so that's going to be fun. It's going to be an executive roundtable there. So I definitely, if you have not registered for that, it's going to be a fun time.
Excellent stuff. And email Jennifer, and if she has all the information, available for all the events. So I look forward to seeing you both. I can't wait to be in Philadelphia next week. I'm going to get a ton of interviews. I hope to interview you both, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone for the
Absolutely.
first time in a while.
Well, the big question for me is, can I find some khaki and navy slacks, because I haven't worn slacks in quite some time. So I'm going to have to go and look in the closet and see if I'm
I'm a little worried myself, Lance. You're right.
Chuck, this is why we brought you in today. The GAO released a report on the challenges. It's a big picture report on how it rolled out so quickly with PPP and EIDL and really the federal relief programs. And this is the chart that really shows, I think this is the EIDL chart, but let's get into the number one big thing was the communication gap. And we've been talking about this since last year, since April 2020. What do you see with the agency and how their communication efforts were translated to the lending community? I know that you and I were on the front lines for a while with getting information out, but have they resolved those issues? Is it still a past? What do you think's going on?
Joseph, I think things are getting better, but let's put it in perspective for a second. I think, when laws passed, SOPs written, it's a couple months of writing the SOP, and then it's implemented. With this program, it wasn't an SOP, it was an FAQ, and it was on a daily, weekly basis. So we were all used as a utility, and including the SBA. So, you have an agency that does $25 billion a year, and then you pepper on all of the demands that this program or these programs have had on all of us. And there's no surprise here. We knew this was going to come up. We knew there was going to be fraud. And it's honestly, it's not a surprise. So we have to deal with it and move on, in my opinion. But today, I've talked to our folks at Windsor. We process a lot of PPP, just like Lance, and the portal's working real well. The API with the third-party software's going smoothly. So I think we're kind of turning a corner to a certain extent. Lance, what do you think?
Well, there's no doubt that the SBA portal is working incredibly well, and part of it's how they develop the direct forgiveness portal. There was involvement from participant lenders. There was involvement from borrowers. There was SBA involvement. They brought all the parties in to make sure it worked properly, and it was easy enough to use for the borrowers. It was efficient for the participant lenders, and we've all been around SBA for a long time. This is one of the best platforms that's been released by SBA in a long time, and
Amen.
I can look at my left screen right now and approve 100 forgiveness applications in a short period of time.
You're addicted, Lance.
It's one of those weird things. You wake up in the middle of the night, you're like, maybe I should run up and see how many there are and approve.
It's kind of rewarding, isn't it? You're getting something done.
Yeah, that's one of the things that all of us as SBA lenders love, is accomplishing something. And whether it's getting a loan approved, a loan closed, a purchase demand kit approved, and this portal certainly is allowing us to accomplish a lot. And, earlier, Chuck, if you asked me, I would have said we'd be in PPP forgiveness for most of 2022.
You talked about
I don't think it's going to take that long. I think this forgiveness portal is going to flush stuff out pretty quickly.
Yep. Jennifer, you've been working with the agency and the staff. Do you agree with this, that there was gaps at the beginning and now it's really been resolved in the sense of their mission and their purpose getting out to the industry?
I guess so. I think that, they've done everything that they can, and, I don't know that I'm close enough to it to really weigh in on that, but, I think that, we've definitely struggled ourselves trying to put content together. It's changing all the time, and, it's tough, but I possibly do. Yeah.
The second part of the report is really on the fraud. We've reported that it's PPP is less than 1% of the total loan volume are reporting fraud. But that seems to be a big issue for EIDL and that program that had a much different reaction to the launch. So read the report, fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Again, just another tidbit of news, the SBA is announcing that the shuttered grant venue is going to extend it's going to open up again and have some more grants. So I am not quite sure when that ended. I think it was a couple weeks ago, maybe something like that. But they're opening it up again. So we're gonna keep an eye on this program and the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. I know that the Senate subcommittee came up with a $48 billion number for the restaurants. Again, Chris said yesterday that June 15th, everybody was pretty optimistic about not having to have stimulus anymore, but the conversation has shifted back to having more. So that's what we got as the news. And again, Chuck, Jennifer, I can't wait to see you guys on Monday. We're going to have a great show, and it's going to be another small business lending conference. So I'm very excited.
Finally, we're back in the saddle, Joseph.
Email Jennifer and get your seats, and so you can see all your old friends and the SBA officials. So with that, this is concluding today's program, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for Coleman Report Live. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a